I'm Eggy Drago. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. I'm a part-time video store clerk, a part-time brawler. Oh yeah, and a full-time human being. Wow. When I went to Tokyo back in February 2024, I went to an idol concert on a whim because my VTuber Oshi, who graduated, was into that scene. Needless to say, I got hooked. We bought way too many checkies. So much so that we have 2 checky books. 2 checky namakans. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. After talking to a few idols, I realized every single one of them has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. Learn more about the idol culture, the various scenes around the world, and to give them a platform to tell their stories. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYZ. Representing one half of the Florida-based idol group ILLIXCITE, we'll have San on to talk about her idol journey. All eyes on me. IDOLEYZ, episode 36, San of ILLIXCITE, tonight. It's gotta load in. Wow! Hello. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago, and we are here for IDOLEYZ episode 36 with our guest for tonight. She is one half of Florida-based idol group ILLIXCITE. She is 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. She loves chicken. San, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
A strawberry.
She loves strawberry ice cream. This is San. San.
I'm not 7 foot tall though. Lies are being told here.
San, how are you on this?
I'm good.
On this
Hello.
night. Hello,
Thank you so
hello.
much for having me.
Thank you for accepting this invitation. You know, we had Nayo on back in November, like right after Northwest Idol Fest, and this was the perfect time since this was like right after Holiday Matsuri, and you were pretty busy with stuff like that, so
yeah, definitely. You caught me at the best time.
So let's get this show on the road as I ask every single guest to start things off. Actually, no, sidebar. Since I was very curious because like Nayo had this kind of the same background, and I wanted to ask you too. You were born in the Netherlands. How did you end up in Florida?
That's a long story. Long, but not too long. I wanted to leave home. Not fully. Basically, I majored in animation, and America is like way better of an animation industry than good old little the Netherlands. Like the Netherlands has a lot of a game industry, but not really like movies or TVs. So I was like, I want to study this, and somehow I ended up in Florida.
I mean, you know, Disney, Universal.
We had like family friends here, which is the only reason why my family allowed me to leave the country by myself. So that's how I ended up in Florida specifically, and I thought it was perfect because there's Disney and everything, Universal, all the good stuff. So it was a good choice for my career goals. My career has changed over the last 10 years or so that I've been here, but life goes that way sometimes.
Life goes on, of course. All right, so back to the start of every single IDOLEYZ episode. Gotta ask, who or what got you into idol culture or J-pop culture in general?
Honestly, anime. It started with anime for me. The Netherlands, growing up, I definitely did not get too close to like anime or even like Japanese culture that much, as it was not as easily accessible, I feel, here or there, as it was in the US. But through discovering anime itself, I eventually discovered idol anime. And the first one I watched was actually AKB 0048, which actually got me into AKB 48. So that's probably my leeway into actual idol stuff. I thought they were so cool. I really liked just the fact that they were both like dancing and singing, and it felt like a whole show. The outfits were adorable, and that's kind of how I personally got into idols. And that's when the whole bandwagon started for me. I fell into idol hell, and here I am. You know.
Years later. Um, did you have like a favorite character in the show, and did you have like a Oshi in the actual group?
The show, Nagisa, Oshi, Achan. I mean, they were the same in a way. I admired her story a lot, but I also really liked Mayuyu. Yes,
See.
they were cute.
So you watched the AKB anime.
Yes.
Got influenced to listen to AKB.
Mhm.
What really jump started you to like go into the actual idol activities?
So by actually like getting closer to idol culture through like AKB 0048 and AKB 48, I started watching a lot more shows and listening to more groups, and I was like, I kind of want to do that. Um, but at that time, I wasn't like a, you know, singing and dancing kind of person. I was actually incredibly shy when I was younger. So, which is kind of crazy how I've turned into this right now. Actually, being able to perform in front of like hundreds of people is kind of crazy when you knew me back then. Like, I would never think I was able to do that. So I kind of surprised myself. Um, but through that, I tried singing online because it felt safe. So I entered the Utah IT industry, or community, and started doing a lot of online singing. So I was hiding behind a little character. I was singing covers. I was releasing covers. I made friends that way. Um, and then when I eventually moved to the US for college, I always looked up to Love Life dance groups a lot. So
Right.
I started joining the cosplay dance community. And eventually that all turned into I'm trying to actually do idol stuff, singing and dancing together. And I ended up starting to do that a lot. And it's grown over time. And now I'm here. Doing my own original stuff. So that's really cool. Actually, looking back on it, I never thought I would be able to do this.
So you did you covered stuff on your YouTube channel. Like I'm doing research on guests. I usually just pull through their YouTube. Those are some great covers.
That YouTube does not exist no more.
It does not exist. No, never mind. I take that back. But
The YouTube of when I first started singing, a lot of the old stuff, I'm like, I didn't know what mixing was. I didn't know what a good microphone was. I had my phone kind of thing, so I was like, oh, the baby steps into it. There's covers of me online though. They're still out there, but the old ones are not on my channel no more.
I mean, from like some of the old stuff, you can at least go back and see how much you've progressed compared to
Definitely,
now.
definitely. It's
Yeah.
fun looking back sometimes and being like, wow, that's kind of where I started. And over time, I'm like, I've learned a lot about performing, recording, releasing covers, mixing, releasing music, and everything. So it's really fun to look back on it and kind of like be proud of like my whole journey as a performer and how far I've come so far. Yeah.
So you joined some Love Live cosplay groups, cover
Yes.
groups, and
Yes.
then when did that transition into doing, I guess, stuff as Sun instead of like stuff as the person that you're cosplaying?
So it's it was kind of like hand in hand, because actually the very first live idol kind of performance I've done here was part of a maid cafe.
Ooh.
It was Cafe Peco Peco, and that was my first time actually singing and dancing on the stage. Which then I joined the Love Life dance groups as I started performing more and more. Um, but alongside joining the cosplay dance group, I was also part of Citrus Idol Project, which I kind of did at the same time as cosplay performing. Which through Citrus, I really started to get into singing and dancing as myself versus a character as the Love Live dance group. Um, but eventually, also my fellow members of the Love Life dance group, we were Love Navigators. They were also kind of interested in trying to do our own thing. So all together with everyone, we actually tried to just be original, like an original group. So that made Love Navigators transition into Mystic Wish. I ended up not being part of that for a very long time, as some of us ended up branching out, and that's kind of how we created Cortesque.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there's other members in Cortesque that were also in the Love Life dance group with me. So we ended up branching out into that, and then Cortesque is still around. We're still here, and ILLIXCITE is kind of like a subgroup of Cortesque.
Yeah, I mean, you know, both of you. I mean, yeah, both of you technically started with Cortez, so.
Yes.
Um,
The history is long.
do you remember the very first performance you had in Cortesque?
Yes, it was Anime EY. It was the very first time they had an Idol Fest there, which was also the very first time Next Stage hosted an Idol Fest. And it was me and Ray of Cortesque. It was just the two of us for this one. And we I don't think we sang live for that, but we had pre-recorded like cover audio, and we performed 3 songs. One was from like Twisted Wonderland. One was from Ensemble Stars. I actually do not remember the third song, but I feel like we did a third song. But that was in 2020, I believe.
Oh. Pre-pandemic or during the pandemic?
During.
Oh my god.
Cortesque had a rough start because Cortesque was established like a month before the pandemic started.
Oh my god. Oh, no.
So we had grand plans to get started with Cortesque. Originally, it was Han, Ray, PJ, and me. We started with the 4 of us, and we had a lot of big ideas that we wanted to do. And within the month, COVID hit, and we're like, all our performances were canceled.
Oh no.
all our ideas basically got shelved because there was nothing much we could do without performing. So yeah. 2020 hit us hard.
So last week we had Lace of Noxia on, and she started to perform during 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and then she just did her debut show like on Twitch at her house.
Yeah.
How did you and Cortesque adapt to the situation?
We ended up actually doing the same, because our very first actual thing that we did was an online Idol Fest. because they were kind of booming during that time because everyone still wanted Idol Fest. They still wanted idols. They still wanted to do things. So the online Idol Fests were popular where everyone could send in a video of their performance and it'd be like an online show where we'd cycle through all of the performers and everyone got to show off their group and what they did. So those were really fun during those times. So we did the same. We created a video. We created a cover. Our very first song was Crazy Roulette by Crazy B from Ensemble Stars. Um, we made costumes for it, and we each individually filmed at home and made like this music video from it. It was fun to make, but also pretty difficult to get everyone from like different settings in there together. Um, and we showed it on one of those online idol fests. I don't not remember what it was called. But that was the very first thing we did, and that's kind of what we tried doing was do online videos, try to record apart from each other, or whenever things were a little better, we could meet up and create things together. But it wasn't that often because we have Han, who is unfortunately immunocompromised, so we had to be very careful about COVID and looking out for her as well. Um, but we made things work, and we were able to do quite a couple of covers together during those times still. So even though there were no in real person performances at conventions at that time, we were still trying to make the best of it. So
I see. Like I do remember like going through some of your stuff. Like you guys did a RPG cover, but it was just two of you, and then the three other members of Cortesk just sending in like video in the background. So that's like
yeah,
adapting. I think that would have been later on when like they were starting to let people
yeah,
in, but yeah.
it was still a way for us to be able to include Han, who still wasn't able to attend conventions in person, so that she could still perform with us as well in some form or another. And we had other members that were not able to participate in that stage together with us. So we are like, this could be a fun idea to still include everyone in the performance. Um, so it was like we were still all there because, unfortunately, we have 5 members, and we've never been able to perform with all 5 of us as Cortesque in
Like
person
actually?
ever.
Oh my god. What?
I
Oh my
don't
god.
think since COVID hit, all 5 of us have even been able to be in the same room together at the same time.
Oh my god.
It's
Wow.
yeah, we made things work. Which is why whenever we would perform as Cortesque, it was always 4 of us, or 3 of us, or 2 of us. So we kept kind of trying to cycle who was able to attend an event. Um, but we still made it work. I feel like I'm pretty proud of everything that we were able to do, despite all of the obstacles in our way. And I always love making videos with all those guys.
Um, so 2020, 2021, 2022, things start to slowly pick back up with uh the crowd going back into conventions and stuff. During that time, what was the Kaigai idol scene like compared to like what it is now? It pretty much boomed in 24 and now present day. So, what was it like during that time?
I feel in the Florida scene, um, things were definitely different from before COVID because a lot of groups changed. Groups, people made new groupings of groups. Some groups didn't survive the Corona time. Um, there were new people that were entering the scene. So very early on after Corona, it was a lot of new groups, which was kind of exciting to see because there were a lot of new people trying out new things. And yeah, over the past couple years, especially, I feel like the scene's been growing so much. Um, Kaigai Idol is still, um, we're starting to see more of it in Florida. I feel like the majority of the Florida scene is still cosplay groups.
Uh,
Um, so Kaigai itself, I think, has stayed around the same. There's a few groups that were still around from before that time. There are a couple new ones that are slowly popping up, so that's very exciting. I would love to see more original groups with original music. It's really fun to see. Um, so I feel like Kai Guy's scene, at least in Florida, has stayed about the same-ish.
I think like
Yeah.
when I had Pengi on, she also said like the same thing. It hasn't really picked up over there, apart from like
Yeah.
Resso and then Pengi as a soloist, and then you guys. So hopefully,
Yeah.
it definitely has to pick up. So yeah.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
Side tangent. Um, looking through, doing research. You performed at Dream Stage in 2022.
Dang.
You, well, there's no video of it, but you did perform, or at least revealed that you did have a original song as a soloist.
That's
Was that
right.
ever officially released, or no?
No.
No.
I've performed this song a couple times actually. I performed it at Anime Week in Atlanta, Starlight Idol Fest one year. Dream Stage was actually the first time I performed the song, and I've also performed it at SuperCon, at Super Summer Festa. I do not even remember the years, but I have an original solo song. Yes, I do. I've never released it. I just never had the right time for it. Cause maybe it's me putting too much pressure on myself, where I'm like, I have an original song. I want to make like a really nice video for it. But especially with the COVID times, it was hard to meet up with people. Where I'm like, I've never really had the opportunity to make that yet. Um, but there are plans to release the song.
Well, we have one person in chat that really wants you to release it. I actually want to hear it. So, yeah.
Don't worry. I might release the song this year, possibly.
So, transitioning into ILLIXCITE, I know you guys, you and Nayo, first met in Quartesque, but
Yes.
then you started like performing as a duo, since mostly everyone couldn't like perform as a full unit. Starting
Yes.
in like, I do want to, as early as MetroCon 2021. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, was there like another time before that you performed with Nayo as a duo, or no?
No.
Okay, so
That MetroCon was the very first time we performed together, which was a very. I wanted to participate in Anime Idol, and I always really wanted to perform with Nayo because she's so talented. Even if she says she's not, you're talented.
she
I'm
is, yeah.
talking to you. uh, so it's like, hey, I know the like application deadline is in like 2 days, but do you want to do this together? And she was like, sure. I was like, okay, let's do this. So yeah, that's how I was performing Nayo for the very first time. We had plans to dance together before that time, as a cosplay performance, which got canceled because of COVID. As it goes, as it goes. But yeah, that MetroCon was the very first time we performed together.
So that was still actively still as Quartesque.
It
And
was technically before she joined
oh,
Cortesque.
before, okay.
Yeah, she joined Cortesque, I think, early the year after, early 2022, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cause like Nayo was like, you guys needed like someone to join, so Nayo joined, or like something like that. Trying to remember what she said during the episode, during her
We were
episode.
like, we want you to join.
Yeah.
You're so good. Please join us. Please. And then she finally said yes. Yay.
So, you guys were still in Cortesque. You did some duo performances back in 2022 and then 2023. I do remember you guys did you performed Panic Panic. I remember that
Yes.
because that was on the channel, and then also Nayo talked about that. So that would have been 2023. When did like you have the both of you have like that idea of ILLIXCITE, of forming ILLIXCITE officially?
Ah, towards the end of 2023, we really wanted to make original music. Um, However, as part of Cortesque, it was usually never really sure like who was able to perform. Everyone had more life things coming up. We were like, if we want to make an original song, if we make it with all five of us, but people can't join performances, we would never be able to perform it.
Right.
So we're like, maybe if we make like a subgroup, um, we could make original music as us as like basically like a live performance squad, um, so that we'd be able to make original music and be able to perform it with the two of us because we really wanted to do that and put that out in the world. That's kind of how the idea started, and we were discussing it with everybody at the end of 2023. And everyone's cool with it too, that we wanted to take that change. So that's kind of how it started.
I see. So how did you come up with a name?
I give full name credit to Nayo. We names are always so difficult. When we were doing a lot of name dropping, and especially Nayo was coming up with a lot of really good name ideas. ILLIXCITE ended up kind of standing out. We liked the sound it had. I liked personally. I was also looking for design elements for making logos as well, because I'm the more graphic person of the group. So I'm like, what could like turn into like a fun logo as well? And ILLIXCITE was really fun because I'm like, oh, it has that nice X in the middle, which is cool.
Very perfect.
Yeah. And I like the meaning of it, which is illicit excitement, which kind of summarizes our group a lot. So that's kind of how we're like, yeah, let's just take ILLIXCITE. Let's go with this.
So prior to ILLIXCITE, when you were still performing as a duo with Nayo, it was judging from like the recorded performances, it was mostly like visual K, rock heavy. Did that like carry over into ILLIXCITE?
Definitely. Definitely. Both Nayo and I really love rock music. We love that strong, aggressive sound. And it's also a genre that's wasn't as covered in the idol community. So we're like, this is cool. This is cool. I also give a lot of the music credit to Nayo. Nayo is the music wizard. She has so many good songs that she knows. The VK background is a very strong influence, and that's all Nayo. But I love everything she sends me. I'm like, that slaps. That's so good. Oh my gosh. So that's kind of how we're like, yeah, this is kind of like the sound we want to go for. So that's how it all started.
When you were forming the group, did you have like, did you want it to stay as a duo, or did you want more people in the actual unit?
We kind of were always just intending it to be a duo. We know we work well with each other. It's honestly easier to manage a smaller group, because even this past year we've had trouble being able to meet up for whatever reasons. Many of them have been hurricanes.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The amount of practices that were canceled because of hurricanes this year is more than one. Every single time we were like, okay, we finally have a day we can meet up and practice. Hurricane. And I'm like, what is happening? Every time. So keeping it smaller is nice because it's easier for us to do things. We only have to make 2 costumes. We only have to go around 2 schedules. It's easier to decide on things with 2. So we're pretty much very much on the same wavelength about a lot of things. So we're like, this duo would work well.
Mm. Ooh, Nayo made the costumes, right? Or
Yes,
okay.
yes. It's the seamstress wizard. I
What?
don't know how she does it, but I blink and there they are. I'm like, how have you slept?
Did you have like any pointers that you wanted to give her for your costume, or you were like,
So I actually designed the costumes.
oh, okay.
So and she somehow turns my crazy ass designs into actual physical things. Like, I don't know how you do it. I'm so sorry every single time. So I designed it based off of, we wanted it to be colorful, which is why we have the very colorful, splashy fabric over here. Um, but we wanted to include color, but also have a little bit of like a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, which is why we have a little bit of the cyber vibe, but also there's a lot of like paint splatters in the fabric, which give off a little bit of like aggressive vibe, I guess. And we wanted them to be comfortable. Comfortable. These are actually really, really comfortable. So I kind of went off of that. We would put together. Nayo created a really big folder of like outfit inspiration ideas, and I took all of those and kind of came up with the design and gave it to her. And within a couple weeks, she was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Oh, how do you do that every time?" So that's kind of how the costumes happened. Yeah.
I mean, bringing those designs to life is,
It's
both of
great.
you work together really well. So,
Yeah.
and the finishing result is great. Like the first time, what was it? Yeah, the first time I saw you guys was like right after, what was it? The Northern Lights Festival. You guys like were at Bupon. I guess you were walking like to your table, but like you guys weren't performing until the day after. But I was like, hey,
Yes.
those costumes are great, actually.
We rolled in. Um we had landed like an hour prior. We rolled in. We were still able to watch Northern Lights, thankfully, but unfortunately unable to perform. We really wanted to aim for like that anime moment where when we were planning to try to rebook our flights, we are like, what if? Okay. This flight lands, like, we could make it. We could make it. We weren't later until later in the set. We could make it. We can have like our costumes on. Like all we had to do was like pull on the jacket, and we would run, and we could roll up right on stage and do our performance. We can have that anime moment, but understandable. They didn't want to let us perform without sound check, which is very very understandable. We're like, man. But we have made it in time to at least watch it. And then afterwards, we ended up recording a video, so we still got into costume. So that's when we ran into you.
Yeah. Going back a teeny tiny bit, we'll get into Northwest a little bit after this, but do you remember the very very first performance that you did officially as ILLIXCITE?
It was MetroCon this past year.
Oh.
MetroCon Metro Fest.
Mm.
Yes. That's when we had our very first debut performance.
How was that?
It was great. It was great. It was also the very first time we released our songs, so it was our first time performing our own original music, and it was a pretty large stage, which was really fun to use. So it had like this really huge backdrop that we could like display our graphics on. So that performance was a lot of fun for sure.
Mm.
The audience really liked it too, as far as I could tell. I feel like we really liked including chants into our songs, and we could definitely hear them catch on really quickly. So it was really fun to hear that for sure.
Might as well just segue into the songs. You guys released two songs, well, a single and then B-side.
Yes.
Rise Up and Re-Identity. When did you first start working on those two songs?
So as soon as the new year hit, it was early January. As soon as we decided that we were gonna create ILLIXCITE, we immediately reached out to producers. We're like, we're gonna start now. because we were aiming for MetroCon as our debut, and song production can take a hot minute.
Right.
So we're like, we want to get started on this early because we know that typically the application phases start like April, end of April, early May for those kind of events. So we're like, we're gonna start as early as possible. So instantly, the moment we decided we're gonna create ILLIXCITE, like it was like January 3rd or something. We are like, all right, let's go.
So, how did you find like the the producer that you wanted for those two songs?
um, for Rise Up, we went with Junebug P. Um, he creates really good music and has a sound that we really vibe with because they do that rock sound. So we're like, okay, because initially we're like, we need to find a producer that can really get that rock feel right. Um, which means that they kind of have to play the guitar.
Mm.
Because if you really want that guitar to sound nice, guitar synths don't often get that same sound across. So we're like, we need a producer that can really nail that sound. And Junebug was one of our tops on that list of like, we want to reach out to this person because they create music with that exact sound that we want, and they were very excited to actually work on that. They were like, this is right in my field. And we're like, yes, thank God. So Junebug was pretty easy to find. Dr. Mobius created Re-Identity, um, which we had actually worked with Dr. Mobius before in the past on a cover. Um, so we already knew that we liked his sound. We had never worked with him before for music production, though, like the actual songwriting. So that was a little bit of like, we hope it turns out good. But he absolutely nailed that song. I think it's become like a fan favorite, that song. So
um, were there any direct like songs that you wanted to pull from that you sent to the producer to like, hey, let our song be like this or something like that?
yes. For Junebug song, we ended up going with like a more aggressive like power song. So we wanted that one to be more serious. So we pulled from VK music, as well as Milgram Project, Futa song, which is very much that aggressive rah kind of sound. So those are some songs that we send over. Um, for Re-Identity, we wanted it to be kind of crazy, kind of fun. Really wanted it to have that very much energetic vibe, carefree vibe. We were wanting some like still that rock sound, but also a little bit of like synths in it as well. A little bit of like a funky sound too. Um, Hi, Dr. Mobius.
Oh wow, hello.
So we sent over. It was actually a fan favorite of Cortesque. This song, Choo Choo, Atoka Choo Choo Dancing Night, which is all about choo 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 choo, which people love a lot. It's very fun, very energetic. So we sent that one as amongst other VK songs.
Mm. Uh, well, with the producers on hand working on the song, you did did you guys write the lyrics or did you have someone else write the lyrics?
The producers wrote the lyrics.
Gotcha.
we
What?
gave we gave our like themes and stuff, what
Mm.
we wanted it to be like, but we were like, I'm not good with words.
It's that's fine. That's totally fine. Um, I mean, like, what did you guys want to like convey with like the lyrics?
For Rise Up, it was definitely a powering song. Like we wanted it to be empowering to people. Um, kind of like the feeling of like, don't care what people think. We might be the underdogs. People might not know about us because we also wanted this song to be like our. It's kind of like debut theming, where it's like no one really knows us yet at this point. Like ILLIXCITE, new group, no one knows us. No one knows what we're gonna do. Um, but despite that fact that maybe no one will look over at you, that you kind of go crazy, go all out, no fears. So it was that kind of empowering song. And then for Re-Identity, the whole theme was also don't care what people think. Just have fun. Go wild. Go crazy. Definitely that. Very fun.
Both songs are very good. Listening to them, I think, like, yeah, right before Nao's episode, or like way before Nao's episode, I listened to them, and yeah, they're great. So yeah.
Thank you.
We talked about it a little bit. Might as well get into it now. Northwest Idol Fest 2024. So you guys were announced for the Northern Lights Festival alongside Pengi, alongside Italia's Kawaii, and a lot of other people, Jazzy Cat.
So many other people.
Yeah. So you guys were announced for that. Hurricane Milton happened. And then it kind of, I think they announced you guys were off Northern Lights Festival, and then it kind of got confusing because like you were off, and then I think they announced like you weren't able to perform, and then you guys were able to perform, and then you guys were then scheduled for the community stage the day after. Well, we got Nayo's point of view like when she was on the show. What was your point of view when everything happened?
All of this. It was a crazy 2 weeks, honestly, because initially the week before we went to DreamHack. So we had actually just come back from another performance, which before that also had a hurricane come through. It was back-to-back hurricanes those 2 weeks. It was crazy. I was like, we were at DreamHack. I looked at my phone. I was like, nah, that's from like last time, like last week. I was like, wait, no, that's now. That's now. I was like, Nayo, this is fun. It's scheduled to come right when we're supposed to fly.
Oh no.
I'm like, so we got back from DreamHack, and we were trying to stay in contact with each other, because Nayo was more Tampa region, I was more Orlando region, which it hit Tampa directly on a lot harder than it did me, but it was still straight over me as well. So we were like, let's see what this thing is gonna do first. Then it kind of slowed down, so we're like, oh gosh, no, it's over. It's over. Because initially, we think the hurricane was supposed to pass over by the time that we were gonna fly. So we were hoping like maybe it's not too bad and our flights won't be canceled. But then it slowed down, so it's come over right as we were supposed to fly. So we're like, nah, it's over. It's over. And we're like, okay. We were originally gonna arrive early on Thursday. So if we fly a day later, we could still make it. You're like, oh, why is this event on Friday night? But as we were like, first of all, the storm was passing, so we're like trying to stay okay through that. But we were like, okay, new flights. Then the earliest flight was gonna get there, I think, originally after the event was over. So we're like, but throughout everything too, we stayed in contact with the organizers, and they were super, super kind. They were also trying their best to like make sure we could still perform. So we kept them updated, and they kept us updated, and eventually they did decide like it's probably better if you guys don't perform at Northern Lights, since we don't know if we're gonna get there in time, which we kind of did, but kind of maybe didn't. So they ended up organizing they found a slot for us for Sunday at the community stage for us to still be able to perform, at least that weekend. So we were honestly truly grateful for that, because honestly we were still gonna go, but we were just gonna cheer on for everyone else, even if we couldn't perform. So we were truly grateful for that. We ended up being able to get there in time for Northern Lights, and we were able to see it. But unfortunately, we were not able to perform. But honestly, the Sunday performance was one of my favorite performances ever because everyone that came was so hype. So many people brought their fans, their ILLIXCITE fans, and everyone was dancing along. This stage was fun because it also let us be really close to the audience. So it was definitely a really, really fun experience. And I'm super grateful that they were able to make time for us there. So thank you, Northwest Idol fans.
Thank you.
You.
Yeah, I was there. I took photos for, well, the show that still haven't been edited, but I was there and I saw you guys perform and it was really good. It was really,
It
really
was
good.
a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Even though I hit Nayo, I'm so sorry.
I saw that too.
I'm so sorry. Still turned into my favorite picture to time, even though I'm so sorry.
So with Northern Lights Festival, you guys were, everyone was originally slated for 15 minutes per set. Now you guys, technically, I guess, promoted to community stage. You guys were added an additional 15 minutes, making it a 30-minute set. What did you add into the set to, you know, push for time?
We were like, oh no, now we have 30 minutes, but it's okay because at OdaCon, we actually had a solo stage as well that we had a 30-minute set for. So we're like, we already have songs that we know that we can easily slot in. Because why not? We're kind of just going crazy and having a fun time. That was kind of our thought process behind this performance was, we don't care about being perfect. We don't care that we haven't actually rehearsed these songs. We're just going to go out there and have a good time. But thankfully, we had performed these songs previously in the year at Otakon, kind of like mixed out throughout the years. So we ended up performing obviously our two original songs, but also Panic Panic, which we were gonna perform at Northern Lights as well. Then USA is always a fan favorite, but then our biggest fan favorite is This Is a Pen.
With a giant pen.
Yes. we were honored because we made some friends at Otakon, and they actually, the moment they found out we were gonna do This Is a Pen, they bought the pens, and during the very slow part of the pen song, it's very quiet and slow and emotional, and everyone started clicking the pen. And we were losing it. We were losing it. It was so fun. And I think those were the songs we performed.
Yeah, it was USA.
Yeah.
It was This Is a Pen. One original, and
Yeah, we performed Rise Up and Re-Identity.
Oh, yeah.
So those two originals. Then yeah, Panic Panic and USA and This Is a Pen.
Yeah.
So we were a little under the 30 minutes, but we also had fun just talking with everyone. So I think it ended up being really fun in the end. We were able to perform some extra songs. We were still able to perform. So we had a great time, and we were grateful for everyone that showed up because we were not sure if people were gonna come because we were obviously not on like the official schedule or anything. So we were truly grateful for everyone that followed us and spread the word that we were still doing a performance there. So yay.
Well, I'm thankful that you guys were there so I could catch your performance. So yeah, and at least you guys had like extra time, so I'm very much happy for that, even though it was very unexpected. So yeah.
Overall, Northwest was a really great experience. Like, we really enjoyed getting to meet a lot of like people from the Kaigai idol scene, since it's a convention just for idols. So it was definitely a whole new experience for us. So we had a great time there. So glad we were able to go.
I guess a little bit of a segue, or tangibly related. Would you say that the Northwest Idol Fest performance, would that be your toughest performance, or do you have another performance in mind? Be it ILLIXCITE, be it Cortez, be it pre everything.
Toughest. Um, oh, good question. It was definitely not Northwest. Overall, Northwest was in the end fairly smooth
Mm.
and fun. I feel like Holiday Matsuri might have been my toughest
Oh,
ILLIXCITE performance of this year.
oh wow. What made it that way?
For me, the air was fairly dry
Oh,
in the theater. Um,
Penky said that too. I was like, dry air. Like,
the dry air. The theater was very newly renovated. It was really
uh,
cool that we could perform in an actual theater, because we don't often get to do that. It was the very first time for us. Um, but this was the very first event they were doing after renovating. So because of all the construction, is my thought is the air was incredibly dry in there, and um, when my throat gets insanely dry, I can't sing anymore.
oh,
So like 30 seconds in, I lost my voice.
oh,
um
what?
I
Wow.
noticed it right after Rise Up. This kind of happens almost every time when I sing Rise Up though, because it's a very like vocal tough song to sing. It's very screaming, very very loud. Where usually when I do the MC right after, I'm a little bit like ah. But this time it was gone. It was gone. Where
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I had a hard time hitting notes.
I remember, like, yeah, they had it streamed, but it's unarchived. But I do remember seeing you guys and then seeing Phoebe. I don't remember, like, you still did well. I didn't see, I didn't really,
I'm
it did.
glad it wasn't so favorable, but I noticed it. But performing it was tough for that reason because I had a hard time hitting the notes, especially We Identity has some really high ones where I definitely cracked a little bit on, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's
But
uh,
it was still really fun, because yeah, it was in a theater. It's just a cool experience for sure to be in like an actual theater space and look out over like all the theater seats. It's really fun.
going on the other side of the spectrum, we had toughest. What would you say was the weirdest performance that you've done, be it with Cortesque, Elixite,
um,
etc.?
ah, weirdest maybe. Um, Keeping it in Elixite, it probably was DreamHack.
Mm.
It was a really cool one. But it was at a gaming convention.
Oh,
So
not the right
the
audience.
idol crowd there is even less than normal. Basically, no one knows idols. So we were the halftime show for the cosplay contest, um, which even cosplay is not as known in a gaming convention.
Right.
But they're trying to like push for that more. Um, but we had to perform in front of a crowd that did not really know what we were about at all. But overall, it was really fun because it's a gaming convention, so they have really cool tech. So the stage was really cool. It was like shaped like a triangle. It looked like a K-pop a TV show.
Mm.
They also had this crane camera, so we had like this really cool like overhead footage. Um, we hope to release the footage for that performance really soon. Um,
Yeah.
I think I gave you the
Yeah,
footage of that performance.
it
It
was
was
like
really
a
cool.
very split second, couple seconds in the intro, but yeah,
Yeah,
the production of that was like, oh my god.
it's really really good. So it has like a really nice LED screen. It has fun lighting. They did like fog and everything. They had camera people also with like a handheld camera. They were always on Nayo's side, so Nayo was having fun with the cameraman. So we were like in the camera. They told us that if the light was red, that means that the feed was on them. So she was paying attention to that. I was like, I got you. So it was a really really fun experience, but definitely the weirdest one just because of the very different crowd that we were dealing with. But I think people had a good time, so
It's very interesting because like with idols, you definitely as the performer, you definitely have to feed off of the crowd, and also the crowd has to feed
Yeah.
off of the idol. It's like a give and take situation, or give and
Yeah.
take like relationship, because like if the crowd isn't even doing anything, like what, I'm performing, but like I can't see if
Yeah.
they're like cheering or
Yeah.
anything, but like yeah, it's
It gets a lot easier to keep the hype up if the crowd is hype as well. As a performer, definitely. Like I feed off of crowd hype a lot. Like if I see people having a really good time, I instantly have a really good time. So if a crowd is like kind of like unsure, it's like I still have a good time. But I'm definitely trying to work harder to like make the performance fun for them. I mean, regardless, I'm trying to make the performance fun for people, but trying to get them really into it. Yes.
going with that. What would you say was a performance that you would consider your favorite and like the most fun that you've had?
Mm, it might actually be Northwest Idol Fest.
I see. Yeah, that
For the
crowd was
fact that,
great.
yeah, yeah. Um, which really says that it doesn't matter how big the stage is.
that
If you
play
have
that
like
was so
an
small.
insanely fun crowd, like it makes me have a lot of fun. Like Northwest Idol Fest, it's everyone there is there for the idol stuff, the idol culture. Everyone knows how to WOTA. We don't get WOTA much at all in Florida. The WOTA scene is very small here, and we're really hoping to grow it. I would love to grow it here, but right now it's very small. So being able to see that is so much fun. Um, so definitely with how hype that performance was, and maybe even a little bit of like a revenge after the unfortunate situation, still being able to do that and just have a really good time with everyone. We kind of went in with no expectations, no pressure on ourselves in a way, just have a fun time. Helped me have a really fun time. Like I think that was definitely one of my most fun performances.
I see. Um, since we're in the start of 2025, might as well ask it. Back in December 2023, I think like right after Hallmat, in one Instagram post, you were I'm gonna paraphrase, but like you were very excited to see what 2024 would hold. And I guess I'll ask, what did you think about your 2024 in terms of your idol activities?
I had a blast. It definitely um being able to start ILLIXCITE, being able to release original music, being able to perform as much as we did. We didn't initially intend to perform that much out of state either. We were kind of like, you know what, why not? So we kind of just went for it. It definitely turned out into a year with a lot more performances and adventures than I originally expected, which was a really really fun time. It was a really good time to like be able to create our own music and share it with people and see people react to it. It makes me happy with how many people now get to enjoy our songs. I hear people talk about our songs. People talking to us about really loving our songs, like that honestly means a lot. People buying our CDs, it really means a lot. So overall, I think this year was very successful. Like we ran into a lot of obstacles, because that's just the way me and Nayo are. We're kind of like known as the cursed duo.
Oh,
Our misfortune is not real sometimes, but we make things work and we have fun with it. And as long as we keep doing that, I am so excited to see what else we can do.
well, I'm very much hopeful for what's in store for ILLIXCITE, what's in store for you and Niall. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Um, I asked some of the guests here, but I would ask, is there a difference between the San off stage and and you performing on stage?
I feel I'm the same person.
Same person.
Yeah. I'm always San. I'm like, yeah, all the time. A little weird, but having a good time. Trying to have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a interesting question because like most idols
There's
that
definitely people that kind of have a switch go on in their brain. There's people that are like a lot more relaxed, but then they enter the stage and they're like, oh, present. um, I feel like I'm just me. I've never really thought about being different. I don't know what I'm like to other people, but I'm definitely just me, a little guy doing little guy things.
um yeah, I was very curious because like some people on the show, I think like Lily, I had Lily from Noxia on, and she definitely plays up like the princess persona, and then off stage she
Mhm,
is not like that for sure. So like it's very
mhm.
interesting to hear from different perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do not really play any persona. I'm just me.
um. Well, we talked about like Hurricane Milton and like you know being the cursed duo, even though I don't think you are. What would you say is the most difficult part of doing idol activities?
The most difficult part. Ah, sometimes it can be funding.
Oh yeah,
Um, because everything is expensive.
comes with the
Making music is
price.
expensive.
Yeah,
Costuming is expensive. Uh, Attending events can be expensive, especially out of state. We've done a lot of them this year. It's been expensive, but worth it. So I would say the funding. Honestly, another thing I've been so surprised about was how much support we've received this year. How many people have bought all of our merchandise, which has honestly helped us so much in being able to fund things. So thank you to everyone. But yeah, it's definitely funding because yeah, we don't make money.
yeah.
We spend money,
It's
but we
it's
do it because we love doing it and we love sharing our music with other people. Um, Beyond that, ah, preparing for things could be tricky. Finding the time to meet and be able to plan for events um, can be tricky
right.
because you know we each have everyday lives going on as well. Um, but we make it work, and it's something we can work with.
uh, Switching back a bit, you did perform as a soloist. You did perform in a duo. You did perform in a semi big group, in a trio and whatever as core task. Um, what would you say are like the pros and cons of each um, formation?
um, solo is it's nice because you have full control over everything you want to do. Um, the hard thing is you're solo.
All
There's
eyes are
no
on
other
you.
people backing you up. My biggest struggle with solo performances is I have to sing the entire song, and my throat gets dry if I sing the entire song. It gets hard. You can definitely have to tone down on dancing because you're trying to sing the entire song. Um, so those are struggles I have with solo performances. Duo is nice because you keep it small, which means less cooks in the kitchen, which is always a perk. It gets things done easier. I don't have too many downsides of it, honestly. I like being a duo. Sometimes it's harder to fill a stage.
Right.
because we're a duo. So if there's like a really big stage, like we have to be more present. We have to utilize the stage, so we try to like split apart, kind of like fill the space. It can be harder to fill space with a duo. Um, that's what I think is the big perk of groups is that they look impressive because there's a lot of people in it. There's a lot of character in it. Um, what I like in groups is everyone showing their individual characters and personality, um, which is fun. And groups have fun formations. There's a lot of fun things you can do with formations, which is a lot harder with two people because we're next to each other and we can switch. sometimes we're in front of each other, and sometimes we're like this. But that's it. So that's the perk about bigger groups is that you have a lot of formations, but the downside is it's instantly harder to get anything done because there's, let's say you have a group of 5, there's 5 costumes you have to think about, 5 people's schedules about meeting up with practicing rehearses, 5 people that have possibly different ideas and images and goals in mind for the group. So then it gets a lot trickier to like work together. So it's very much a each I feel like each has its own perks and downsides. But I'm really happy with Duo. I think it works well.
I mean, you guys have been performing years at this point as a duo, so it definitely helps that with that experience, performing and like it's very smooth.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
And the fun thing is, if we ever want to do a bigger group, we can always collaborate with people. So we could do anything.
So new year, new you, 2025. What is one thing that you are aiming to improve upon yourself, be it like skill wise or whatnot, in regards to idol activities?
I'm looking to improve a little bit of everything. I really want to improve more on my interaction
With
like
the crowd or
the audience.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audience, also Nayo. I really like really interactive performances. Sometimes it's also a little scary.
How is that? Why?
Like directly interacting with people means I'm like directly making contact with people. Which can be scary sometimes. I'm actually a little shy person. So it's like a little overcoming that self-conscious feeling where I'm like I'm a little self-conscious about maybe going a little too crazy, where I'm like I want to feel more relaxed so I can kind of just be me, go crazy, have fun, and also pull the audience in with it too. So I definitely want to improve on that. And also my singing.
You're fine. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. But there's always you always can improve upon something that is already good. So
yeah, there's different things I want to try. Maybe more rapping.
Rapping. That's interesting. Like
be fun.
I
Maybe.
see. Speaking of, I guess, future goals, what are some bucket list things that you want to achieve as a member of ILLIXCITE?
I want to perform again, so that's really fun. For those that don't know, I'm actually in the US on a visa, and I'm going home in like a half a month. And as of right now, I don't know when I'm gonna be back. So my big bucket list is to make it back to the US so we can perform again. But ILLIXCITE specific goals, I definitely would love to become a guest at an event. I feel like that would be really cool. It's an experience we haven't done yet. I want to do more out of state performances. Um, I want to do more things with our social media. This past year, we've definitely focused a lot on performing, but especially while I'm temporarily gone, I want to put a little bit more focus into creating content for all of our all of our socials. So grow our socials more and put ourselves out more. And another goal is to maybe make more music. Yeah.
I'm really hoping for more music because the 2 original songs that you guys put out are really good. So I do want more. I want more. So yeah, but like with ILLIXCITE, it's very I both of you definitely carved a niche because it's not the typical like idol stuff, and
Yeah.
that's what makes the Kaiga idol scene very unique. Is like everyone's doing their own thing. Sometimes they go with the flow of Moe, Cutesy. Sometimes people like Charity Ife do their own thing, and then you guys ILLIXCITE, influenced by VizK and Rock, you guys do your own
Yeah.
thing. So it's very good that everyone is doing their own. You know.
Yay.
Speaking of, is there like any songs that you want to cover as part of ILLIXCITE?
Oh. Um, that's a good question. Nayo and I, we definitely would love to do Token Rabu songs. They're really good. um, also, I would love to do Milgram music. They're really good. Uh, beyond that, beyond that, there's nothing in particular where I'm like this specific thing. Um, yeah, my biggest thing is Token Rambu.
I see.
We've performed one of the songs. It was because we won the very first time. Because the very first time we performed together was for Anime Idol, which was a singing contest or an idol contest, I suppose. And we ended up winning it, so we had to come back as like closing performers. So we performed one of the Token Rambu songs. It was from they're two brothers. They're sword boys. But they have really good music. So we performed one of their songs. Um, but at that time, we were not able to practice that much for this performance. And we had a lot of trouble hearing the music on the stage. So we definitely want to have a revenge of this song because we really love this song and we want to be able to really do something really fun with it because they're sword boys, so they have swords and choreography with it, which is really cool. So that's definitely like a kind of dream performance idea. Yes.
We talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but with the Florida idol scene, not really much happening. I guess like you would say. How would you say? How do you guys would want? Ooh, how would you guys improve on the scene there? Like, what would you do?
We'll continue sharing our music and try to see if we can inspire more people to try out original stuff. Um, if we ever go to out of state cons, we always love networking with other Kaigai idols. We'll be like, hey, you guys should come to Florida. Come to Florida, please. We've also made friends with Adiwaza, who I would love to see in Florida too. You guys should come to Florida. Bring the WOTA scene here. I feel like bringing the WOTA scene here more would be really cool. I think it could grow the idol community here even further as well to add like a new fun element into Idol Fests. You should come to Florida. I feel like that's the best we can do is try to spread the word. Um, yeah.
Well, hopefully, I mean, with Holiday Matsuri happening every year and the influx of idols that have been participating, especially like last year with
Mhm.
ILLIXCITE, Phoebe, Barry, a bunch of other people, and hopefully more people will come and actually be inspired to join. You know.
Yes, we thankfully have a ton of idol fests every year. A lot of conventions here have idol performance opportunities, um, both big and small. So we really hope that more people will give it a try. Try out performing, try out creating music, sharing their love for idols so that we can grow this community even further. Definitely.
Um, when would you say you started idol stuff? Like what year?
Mm. If I count Utaite singing,
Sure, why not?
uh probably like 2010.
Wow. Okay.
Long time ago.
So
Long time ago. I was singing on YouTube for a long time. Actual idol stuff, it was 2015 or 2015, 2016 where I actually started performing in person. But I dabbled in live singing performance at the end of like 2014.
okay.
So, a long time. A long time.
So I guess almost a decade, give or take, doing idol
Yes.
activities. That wow. Like
Yes.
you and I guess Melancholia and maybe Phoebe are on par for like being the most active in the scene, I would say.
I've been here a while.
Yeah.
I arrived in America and I was like, there's an idol community here. People like idols. People want to perform. Like, oh, let's go. So I started doing it. Yes.
So, I guess almost a decade into this, what do you plan on doing after all of this? Whenever it happens, hopefully not way down the line, but like, what do you plan on doing?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. I feel like if ILLIXCITE ends at some point, hopefully not soon, um, it depends where I would be in my life. I feel like I would like to keep singing. Um, Performing, it would depend where I'm located, because unfortunately the Netherlands has a lot less performance opportunities than Florida. um, I'd probably still want to make stuff because I like doing it, but I don't know. That's a good question. I would love to at least be somewhat involved. Maybe like organizing or helping out at events, helping out newer groups, giving tips. Maybe I'll take the classic idol route of the veterans become
Producer.
producers too. Who knows? I just love sharing my own passions for music and singing and performing, and love sharing my knowledge on it and with new ones, new little guys.
I uh yeah, I think I asked like a couple people on ILLIXITE, and some of them did say that they wanted to be like a manager, they wanted to be a producer, and like even with you definitely have the experience to be a producer, even hopefully way later than this. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Hopefully, not anytime soon. I'll be back.
um, I guess another question that I usually ask people, what would the current you, 2025 San, tell the San that was about to debut, be it through ILLIXCITE. We could do this like different sections. Be it through ILLIXCITE-san, Cortez-san, or like the san that was about to record their very first cover.
Okay, to San that was about to record her very first cover. Just do it. just post. Honestly, sing, post, talk to people, make friends, have fun. Initially, I was definitely very, very shy about it still. So I feel like I could have done a lot more than I ended up doing at that time. Um, so I would tell her to just do it. It doesn't have to be good. You're learning. You're learning. In 10 years' time, you can always private those videos and no one will ever see them again. But getting the experience is good. It's helped me a lot. Like actually, like moving over to doing IRL performing as well. Those that knowledge of creating cover videos and stuff like that. It's always been very helpful. Even career wise for me as well, because I do art, I do commissions, I actually do video animations for people. Um, so it's helped me in many ways. So young San, do it. Then to Cortez San. Um, what will I tell her? Don't be afraid to be seen. Um, at that time, I was definitely trying to be more out there. Because previously I had just been mostly in the cosplay dance community, but I've never really talked too much to original idol people, and I used to struggle a lot with social anxiety. So getting perceived was very scary. And at this time I was still trying to like overcome that a little bit, because when you're a performer, you're like putting yourself out in front of a lot of people. And initially it was scary for me. So I definitely went on to tell her to like, don't be afraid, have fun. People are nice. People are really nice. I've come across no one mean in this community. Everyone's been really, really nice. Then to ILLIXCITE-san is go crazy. Don't hold back. If you want to do something, just do it. Um, any idea you have, it might be possible. Don't underestimate the possibilities. Cause before that, the thought used to be about like creating original music, all that kind of stuff. Was very. I don't think I could ever do that. Like that's something for like the big people kind of thing. But then we started doing this, and we're doing it, and we're creating music. We have physical CDs. I'm like, that's something I never thought I was able to do. So I'm like, don't let, don't let, don't let anything stop you. For sure. Yeah.
Would that advice that you gave to your 3 past selves, would that advice be the same advice that you would tell someone that was about to debut as an idol?
Definitely. Don't be afraid to do things. If there's anything you want to do, if you have a passion for it, if you enjoy it, just do it. Don't be afraid of what other people think of you, because it doesn't matter. You're kind of here to express yourself. You're here to have a good time. And if you have a good time, typically other people have a good time. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put too much pressure about making everything perfect. Just tell the world what you want to tell them and have a good time doing so. I think that's my best advice. Because typically the performers and that I like watching the most are the ones that are having a good time. I don't care if they mess up. If they look like they're having the time of their lives, I'm having the time of my life watching them. Same for I guess putting pressure on yourself is, if you're having the most fun, you're gonna do better than if you're incredibly anxious or nervous or like paranoid about making a mistake. But if you go on that stage without fearing mistakes, if you let them happen, because they're gonna happen. Things are scuffed sometimes, and you just gotta roll with it, embrace it, have fun with it, and you can still put on a great performance, and people will still love watching you. Um, I want to say something else too, but I forgot.
I'm, that good advice for yourself and good advice for anyone that is starting out or, has, just debuted already. So, yeah.
Yes.
What else? Is there anything ILLIXCITE related that you want to promote? You have the floor.
Oh man. Listen to our music. Listen to our music. We hope to be cooking more music. We are we're ILLIXCITE. We have 2 songs, Rise Up and Re-Identity. We also have merchandise. We have a merch store. It's currently closed, but if you look at our social media, we're ILLIXCITE on Instagram, ILLIXCITE on YouTube, ILLIXCITE on Twitter. Um, there's a link to our coffee.
Yeah.
You can support us on there too. But we hope to open up our store at some point again. So you can still get merchandise, except the fans. We sold out of fans. Everyone loves the fans.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Well, at least I got mine somewhere. Hang on.
Yes,
Wait,
we
do
got
I
it.
have it? 1 second.
Yay, fans! Somehow everyone lost the fans. Everyone lost the fans.
I got it. Can I open it?
Let's go.
There we go. It's
Yay!
almost there. There we go. Oh, it's kind of scuffed, but
It's so big.
it's scuffed, but also backwards. But we got it. We got the fan. We
Yeah!
got the fan.
We got it! It's now an exclusive item because we're not gonna make more.
Oh, well, at least it's rare.
You got it. You got it.
Awesome. But yeah, at least I got.
Yeah, other items we will be having are we have CDs, we have keychains, we have buttons. Keychain. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Yay!
Ooh.
Yay! We also have some T-shirts left over. So when we open the shop, get the shirt. Thank you. Your support helps us make more music.
Yeah, I
More
want
music
more.
is fun.
I want more ILLIXCITE music. So
Yes.
yeah. Well, this concludes the interview portion of IDOLEYZ. But before each episode ends, we have, of course, a segment that people love, but somehow, it's a terrible segment called "The Worst Pep Talk Ever." Where for 1 minute I have to give the guest a pep talk for 1 exact minute. It's usually like a minute 30 because I don't really care about the time limit, but whatever. There we go. All right, son. Well, I'm waving this fan. I love what you're doing with ILLIXCITE. You guys are really good, and you guys are very much unique and very much different compared to everyone else. And that's good. That's a good thing for the Kai Guy scene, that everyone has some variety there. I'm really hoping that you can try to do something with idol activities, despite being in the Netherlands in the future. Hopefully you can come back, because I do want to see ILLIXCITE perform again, be it in LA Idol Fest or whatever Northwest Idol Fest is gonna be this year. Yeah. You and Niall definitely have. I don't know. It's overused, but you guys have aura. You guys have aura and charisma. All right, you guys have stage presence. There we go. Better way to say it. And I really want to see you guys perform again. And if you guys can't perform, I do want to see you, release covers or whatever it takes, because you guys are great, and I can't wait for whatever happens next in the future. And
We'll
that
be doing something.
that
Don't worry.
is
We're
it.
cooking.
That is a
Yeah!
minute 18, a minute 17:99. So
Yay! Thank
yeah.
you so much.
But yeah, if you aren't already following San or Nio, follow them. I think I did the command already, but follow them. Go to their card. It has every single social. Sun's except for the Instagram is on on her card. So yeah.
Yay!
Also follow ILLIXCITE. They're great, and
Yay!
hopefully they'll have more stuff out in the future. And
Thank you.
that is it. While
We're
I'm waving this fan,
cooking.
I love the fan. I love the fan.
Yay!
But yeah, that concludes this episode of IDOLEYZ. But next week, next Saturday to be exact, we have another guest, someone who also performed on the Northwest Idol Fest community stage. I think like Saturday. Yeah, Saturday afternoon. They are a vocal coach. They are like during Northwest Idol Fest, they did a lot of magical girl songs. And next week we will be having Martha on episode 37.
Yay!
January 18th.
Martha!
Martha.
Yay!
6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST. Martha will be on, and we'll see what is gonna happen there. It'll definitely be a good episode. But yes, stay tuned next week, next Saturday for that. Thank you, San, for being on the show. Thank you, Nio, even though Nio's not here. Thank you for also accepting to be on the show. In chat.
I see her. Right here, somewhere. Yeah. Wait, no, this way.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you both for accepting this invitation to be on IDOLEYZ, and taking the time to be on the show. Usually it's, being on a show for 90 minutes is definitely take, a lot of time. But thank you so much for accepting this invitation. So
thank you so much for having both me and Nio on the show. It's been such a fun time. Also, everyone, follow Eggy.
Yeah,
This
sure.
way.
Follow. No.
Yeah.
I mean, follow San. That's more important. Follow San and Nio. Not me. I'm not important. But yeah, thank you so much. And I guess we'll take it home here. Take care. Brush your hair. Be kind. Rewind. And good night. We'll be heading off to the ending screen. Follow everyone involved. Follow ILLIXCITE. Follow San. Follow Nio. Follow Ginga. Yeah, why not? Whatever. And yeah, we'll be going to the ending screen right here, right now. See you next Saturday. Bye.
Bye.